tripod there.
I'm sorry?
You had a nice tripod.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
So what are you doing with that?
So yeah, I'm just gonna put this one on and we're all straight. Hopefully I remember to charge it. I did. Alright. Select all of these, delete. Okay. Alright, I think we're set. Yeah. All right, perfect. All right, so 3 very easy questions. Again, they have to do with common sense. It's about proving things to each other, right? So they have to do with the orientation of water. So it has to do with the physics of water. So when we have air and water in a bottle like this, and the bottle's at rest, the water will always go to the bottom and push the air to the top, regardless of the orientation, right? Water will always go down and push the air to the top, you know, especially if the bottle's at rest. That's a fact, right? Since we understand that fact about water, right, when it's contained and at rest, I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier to see, to make it more apparent. So the water's blue, but since we understand that fact about water, how I'm showing you these 2 water bottles, which one is not in the correct orientation? Since we understand, yeah, which one is not in the correct orientation?
This one appears to be because what has the bottom. This one may not be.
So this one you think is not in the correct orientation?
I believe so.
Yeah. You got it, but if I was to ask you, why do you think this one is not in the correct orientation?
Because the water here, if this, what I'm seeing here is water.
Yeah, the water is blue, definitely.
Well, the water is blue, then is just the orientation.
Yeah, so I actually took it like this.
Yes.
Yeah, right? Very easy, right?
Yeah.
Pretty common sense. Would you agree, right? Easy. So the second one is even easier. So another thing about water, again, we could tilt the container, right? But water always remains level. That's another thing about water. It always finds its level, right? So what could be another word for level if we had to use a different word?
Level. Could be height.
It has to do with height, right? I would say the one word definition for level. I would say the one word definition for level is horizontal.
It could be, it could be, well.
Because if you have a slope, that's not level, is it?
Yeah, well, in a sense, you're looking at height. Right? You're looking at a level, a certain level. So the level will tend to vary from.
Okay, so let's say we had a level surface. How can we describe that surface? Exactly. Vertical, horizontal, actually perpendicular to the vertical, right? Because we could have a straight line that's on a slope. We could say it's flat, but it's not level, right? It has to be a horizontal straight line, and that's what level. It has to do with orientation.
Yeah, you have to look at it.
Exactly. No deviation and elevation, basically. It's level.
It's flat.
You could say that, right? Okay, so since we understand that fact about water as well, it always finds its level. Which one of these 2, when we're looking at the water, represents level as we know it? The physics of water.
Water level?
Water level.
Water level.
Which one is correct? A or B? Again, this is a body of water that's at rest.
Well, if it's at rest, then it's a little bit more.
Yeah, if it's at rest.
Here, there is a topographical area.
I would say if it's a topographical area, then that will be a river.
Yeah.
So the water is the water is being contained.
It's like
and it's at rest.
Like a tank.
There we go. Yeah. We could say it's a tank, right? Which one represents water level, right? Correct. Yeah, that's the obvious one, right? So very easy, right? So this third one is actually the hardest one. It has to do with vision. So we're gonna test how good your vision is.
What is this got to do with that?
Oh, you'll soon find out.
No, but what has this got to do with this?
Oh, I'm just basically sharing the conversations, basically, so that people can.
Are you recording that?
Oh yeah.
Why would you do that without my permission?
Well, we're in a public space, that's why.
In a public space?
Yeah, this is
Are you engaging me?
Well, you came up to me. That's the thing.
Oh, is that your logic?
Well, yeah.
Is that your common sense?
Yeah. I don't know if you knew. Okay.
So is this your common sense of recording someone that's coming to your space?
Oh yeah, definitely, because it's a First Amendment protected activity. You know, we have rights here in America, right? All right. All right, that's fine. I understand some people are camera shy.
Be careful with what you say about First Amendment.
Yeah, First Amendment.
First Amendment does not mean that you...
Freedom of press. You know what freedom of press is?
Freedom is something new because something that is knowledge.
No, you know what freedom of press is?
Yes.
Yeah, it means to have the right to come out in public and do a story, meaning record.
That's not a story. This is,
Anything could be a story. If you have a camera...
You're not reliable, you're full of crap.
Oh. Whoa.
Not seriously.
Okay, that's fine. That's your opinion.
No, it's not my opinion.
That's your opinion.
The common sense would have told you that before you start recording someone, whether in public or not.
As soon as I record it, if you were feeling uncomfortable, like right now, then you could just walk away. That's fine.
Did you tell me you were recording?
It's obvious. I told you I was setting up my cameras. It's obvious. But it's okay. You have the right to walk away. He sees me setting up the cameras, right? I told him that I need to set up the cameras before starting the conversation. And basically he got upset after. He realized that the conversation started. He noticed me starting the cameras and he got upset that I was recording. Two questions in. It's kind of weird, but yeah. It was going good. He looked like he was, reasoning and understanding it.
You know what the mission is? Because I have a lot of curiosity.
The mission in?
I know that way, but how close?
I'm honestly not that familiar with this area. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, some older guy. Yeah, he got upset that I was recording, even though he seen me set up the cameras in front of him. I guess people want to be asked, oh, is it okay if I record you? Like, why do I need to ask when you see me recording? You asked me, which I would have expected you to ask me if you didn't want to be recorded in the beginning. You could have been like, oh, you're setting up because you're going to record? And I would have been like, yeah. And he could have been like, oh, I don't want to be recorded. And then, yeah, he would have walked away. But he seen me recording. He didn't ask me if I was recording because I'm assuming it's obvious. I'm setting up 2 cameras. Like, I mean, what else do you think I'm doing if I'm setting up the cameras? Of course I'm recording. Yeah, and if you come up to me, that's you consenting that you're okay with being on camera. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's the way, that's logic, that's common sense. If you don't want to be on camera, why would you go up to the guy that's holding up a camera? And even if he wasn't holding up when you went up to him, when he brings out a camera and you don't want to be on camera, you can assume that he's going to start recording, or you can ask him before he starts recording. Like this gentleman could have asked me as well before I started recording, but I don't know why he got very upset. It's not like I brought up... I would have understood if he got upset after I brought up the Ball Earth lie, but I didn't even get to that lie. He got upset before I even got to the Ball Earth lie, so that was very bizarre. Very bizarre. I don't know why he got upset. Because I guess because I started challenging his common sense, and I don't know, kind of weird. Pretty weird. Alright, am I recording? Yeah, there's an event going on here in downtown Riverside. Yeah, and he was waiting for me too when I was setting up. It's just funny is that I literally took like a few minutes. Like he waited for me like 3 minutes to set up the cameras. I told him, oh, let me just set these cameras up. He waited to have a conversation. He's seen me press record. He's seen me mount the cameras, and then 2 questions in, he got mad. Like, what the fuck? That was weird. I'm still tripping on that. Oh man. Can we check out the chat real quick? I'll check it out on this one because I can't scroll on the chat on that phone. So let me just check the chat real quick, and then we'll get started. Chilster, Hyde Piper, what's up? One Man and His Detector, Bass Truther, Execrate, what's up, Andrew? And the Jolly Man. Yeah. Shifty Eyes Shady, what's up, Matt? Renewed Awareness, what's up? What's up, everybody? Alright, that seems to be everybody. But yeah, if you guys didn't hear the first conversation that was gonna happen, you guys could rewind. But yeah, like he got upset that I was recording. Kind of funny. Yeah. Alright, so caught up with the messages. So. Maybe he fancied me. I did tell him that, I told him that common sense ain't so common nowadays. It was off camera when I was explaining to him what I'm doing. He was very curious to know what I was doing about, because the question says, do you trust your common sense? So again, he was very curious. He even said it like, oh, I'm interested to see blah, 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 blah. And yeah, just took a complete 180. I don't know why he got so upset. That was weird. Like, I was still tripping, man. I was still tripping. That was weird. Misplaced laughter is suspect. I don't know what that means, but I guess randomly laughing. You could say that's a little creepy too. You guys want to take some info with you? No, I don't celebrate Christmas. No. Nah, hell no. I don't celebrate any holiday for that matter. Any government holiday especially, like, or Christian holidays, I don't celebrate any of that. If anything, just birthdays, So yeah, let me just show you guys the setup real quick. Sure, put this camera down. So there's like an event going on here. Oh my god. There's a lot of tents, and I'm assuming it has to do with Christmas. I'm pretty sure. Just give a quick look. Yeah, some people walking right there. We got more people over here. Yeah, so sidewalk, street. This is Main Street here. And there's the table right there. Nothing too special. Just a table with a question. Right? So yeah, one thing I've learned, I mean, I knew this before doing activism, is that people can be really weird, I mean, I could be weird too, all of us, could be weird, right? But I'm talking about like randomly, like I don't know, we're weird. I guess that's what weird is, right? But yeah, people, are not psychologically like grounded, so it's like they're very impulsive, very emotional, easily triggered. People are kind of like children, nowadays. So yeah, you never know how people are gonna react, Again, people could also be just having a bad day, and then you just come along and you just say something they don't like, or and that's it, that's all it takes to tip them over the edge, right? The edge of the flat earth. That's right. Damn, it was gonna be a good conversation. He seemed reasonable, but then obviously his true colors came out after. Yep. JC, what's up? I forgot how nice California was. I'm gonna take that as sarcasm, right? Sarcasm. Taking Back Eden, what's up? Hey, what's up, Mad Mac? Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, let me make sure these slides are lined up, because if they're not, oh, I actually got this. I got this printout on the way over here. I'm adding it to the slides. Here we go. So when I'm talking about measuring the surface of water, when I have the A and B question, I'm basically going to show them this. So right before showing them the A and B, so they could just get a visual, because a lot of people like to say that they've seen the curvature at sea level, right, or they could slightly see it. So showing them this picture while I'm talking about the physics of water, I feel like it could just take away that bias that they might have, or that you know, the curvature that they thought they seen, right? So yeah, showing, you know, the physics of water, you know, like this, especially when I'm talking about physically measuring the surface, you know, I think it'll just paint the picture a little better, and maybe people will understand it, you know. So I think this is a good addition to the slides or the presentation, right? You know, so. I think it's funny that the mainstream, right, debunks itself, right? Like all the claims that are contrary, right, to each other, and they have to debunk themselves, because again, the mainstream has to acknowledge, like, basic physics, in other words, you know. So the mainstream has to acknowledge basic physics. So that's why they contradict themselves, because once they start telling lies that contradict the basic known, you know, the known physics, then that's where the contradictions come into play. You know, so the whole globe Earth model is just a big contradiction, basically. So with the laws of motion, it's the same thing. Again, the mainstream acknowledges the laws of motion. Again, they use characters like, what's his name, Newton, right? The Newton's laws of motion. But you know what? The laws of motion are just the laws of motion, you know. Putting a character tied to them, and then he discovered it, and now this bullshit, that's all bullshit, you know. Stop, you know, people need to stop associating, you know, physics with people. You know, that's two different subjects, you know, but that's how they do it. They mix in truth with lies, you know. So the laws of motion, for example, first law, it's a body would stay at rest, you know, and remain at rest unless there's a force acting on it, right? You need a force to put an object into motion, right, when it's at rest. In other words, if you're holding this, right, and you're just holding it, technically it's at rest. So if you move it this way, boom. You move it this way, boom. Move it that way, that's motion, right? It requires a force, me being that force. You know, again, a body at rest will stay at rest unless there's a force acting on it, you know, up, down, any direction, right? You know, that's motion. You know, motion requires a force. So when you claim that this is at rest, right, and you release it, right, and then there's motion, you have to deny the first law of motion now, because now you have globe earthers, you know, with the Einstein theory of relativity, claiming that gravity is not a force anymore. And that's where the magical term comes in, the magical force, because it's a force that can create motion without being a force. You know what I'm saying? Even though we know that only a force can create motion, that being a push. You know, in order to have motion, you need push, you need a pressure, you need something pressing up against it, right? So they have to deny that fact, because again, there's no cause to that motion, that push. You know what I'm saying? That's where it goes to imagination. So they're literally now, they have to contradict the first law to sell their model now. You know? So now you don't need a force. Apparently something else can make things move that's not a force. And now you have stationary flat earthers saying the same thing. Again, denying the first law of motion, right? Second law of motion. Force is equal to mass times acceleration. Mass being something, substance, you know, matter, and acceleration being motion. So something that's in motion is what a force is, something that causes motion to something else. So in order for you to cause motion to something else, you need something that's already in motion to be able to push something else to put it into motion as well. Again, force being something that's in motion. Again, you claim there's something in the air or in the background that's flowing, that's creating this acceleration down. Again, not a force, because there's no effects of motion, even though, you know, that's what people claim. So again, you have to basically deny that a force is matter, mass, that's in motion. Now you're invoking something that's not matter. By the way, matter, the word for matter comes from the root word or the ancient word to measure, you know. So matter has to be measurable. You have to be able to measure it somehow. You know, like the air is measurable, the electromagnetic field is measurable, you know, waters, everything that's matter is measurable, right? So if you can measure this force, again, magical force, because apparently it's not a force, then what are we talking about? Then it's not matter, you know, then it's not mass. Then it's nothing, basically. You're just imagining things. So again, the second law of motion doesn't even fit. Now we go to the third law, which is for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's where the displacement comes in accelerating down. Again, acceleration is an action. Displacement, it's a reaction to that acceleration. So again, the third law of motion, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Again, when you accelerate a bubble, there needs to be displacement. If you have an air bubble, that air bubble needs to be pushed in the direction of acceleration. That is the reaction of the action, of the acceleration people are claiming. And again, you could say that it's not a force that's accelerating. You're still claiming acceleration, which is an action. So there needs to be a reaction to that acceleration, aka displacement. There's no displacement, there's no acceleration. It's literally that simple. You know, people that are just stuck on this and not accepting it, and you know, that's your fault, you know. But if we could debunk that objects, you know, don't accelerate in free fall, the whole heliocentric model is derived from that idea. Why? When you ask, how does water bend? Oh, gravity, the pulling force, accelerating water towards the center, so it makes it bend, you know, naturally, right? How do airplanes fly level, straight over a globe, right? Oh, it's gravity. It's that force, the same force that pulls water and that accelerates things towards the ground. It's the same thing that autocorrects airplanes, right? Well, how do planets orbit? You know, oh, it's gravity. You know, that's how we're able to go around the sun and all this bullshit. Oh, okay. Well, how does the air does not escape, you know, to the vacuum of space? Oh, it's gravity. You see that force that bends water? It also holds the air in. You know, so the whole heliocentric model relies on the idea that objects are accelerated down by this magical force. If you could debunk that objects don't accelerate down, that whole idea of this magical force of the universe that makes things orbit and keeps the whole universe together, it goes out the window. If we could prove that it's the Earth that's in constant motion that makes it appear, you know, that objects fall, then the whole heliocentric model falls apart. You know, in my opinion, it's the #1 proof that debunks the globe, and it's just as important, if not more important, than water being level. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you're gonna claim acceleration, again, an action without the reaction, well, then you're gonna need an experiment to recreate that, because reality shows that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. AKA, if you claim acceleration, there needs to be displacement. And if you're gonna deny physics, what we can practically show to each other and prove to each other, because you have a bias for a globe or a stationary flat Earth, then you need proof for that. You can't just say that, you know. It's not gonna work, especially not with me, you know, or someone like me, you know. And, but yeah, it's literally that simple, you know. Yeah, I'm like right in front of the sun. I didn't think it was gonna be this hot, but it's fine. It's not that hot. Let me see what the degrees is. I mean, let me see. It says it's 61. It literally feels like 71 at least. And let me see some of the. Asking a question isn't spreading this info. Also, don't speak for others. What questions are you asking? I mean, it's nothing wrong with asking questions. I'm telling you the answer, but then you want to deny the answer. That's the problem. You're denying the answers to basic physics. You're contradicting yourself because you have a bias. If it's not because you have a bias, why? Why do you deny displacement when there's acceleration? Why is that? Let me check some of the comments, because again, I can't scroll back over here, which kind of sucks. Who put that comment? Jacois? Yeah, let me see. Didn't you have an interview with Eric Dubay earlier in the year where you two were making fun of people for believing the Flat Earth Society and the world moving up? The Earth moving up never got brought up in that conversation. I don't know if you want to go back to it. The Flat Earth Society and the Earth motion in specific never got brought up in that conversation. And to be honest, I was still kind of, I don't want to say new to the idea because I already, you know, I was pondering it, but I just hadn't dove deep into it. But if I was as knowledgeable as I am right now about it, I would have definitely have brought it up in that interview. But to be honest, again, I'm not gonna put words in people's mouths, but again, it's because I was new to it. It just didn't get brought up, and again, Eric didn't bring it up either. So to say that it doesn't really mean anything, I mean, again, I'm still learning, you know. If you could prove to me that I'm wrong physically, please do so, you know. But again, bringing in other people, you know, into a conversation of physics, to me, it's irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? So, again, if you could prove to me physically that the Earth is stationary and that there is a magical force that can accelerate without displacement, an action without a reaction, then please, you know, you can put the name of the video here, you know, because I know you can't leave links, but leave the name of the video, you know, if you have one, if you uploaded one, or if you know of one, of a demonstration at least, right? Then I'll be definitely open to that. Asking a question is spreading misinfo, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, asking questions is not spreading misinfo, but again, if you're making claims that the Earth is stationary and you don't have physical proof for that to back up your claims, then you are spreading misinformation. So I agree, asking questions, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. I'm all for ask me anything. You know what I'm saying? Ask me anything. I'll answer it, you know, especially if I see it, because, you know, a lot of times I just get lost, you know. But yeah, asking questions, nothing wrong with that. But if you're making claims that cannot be substantiated physically, then you're full of shit. That simple, you know. Yeah, the Earth is demonstrably in motion. Let me read some of these other ones. Taking back eating, Glovers, can you feel the Earth spin faster than the speed of sound? No. Hear the spin? No. See the spin? Tilt for yourself? No. Believe. Yeah, when the sun gets blocked by the clouds, it actually, you can feel the temperature change that quick. Like, it's crazy. Corey's, I'm a moving level earther, no worries, bro. JC, Earth can be moving upwards relative to us and be a ball at the same time. Case closed. Yeah, that simple. Airship Bear, what's up?
Yeah, you see
what's up?
Standing there.
Thanks for stopping by. A lot of my slides that I share here, I noticed that when I restart my phone, which I did before coming, all the slides that I had pre-selected all basically disappeared, which kind of sucks, but yeah, I'm gonna see if I could put some of them back. I wanted to go over some of the free fall. I don't know why they disappear. It's fucking annoying. Oh, I see, I see.
I mean, it's a common. This is where Evelyn took you.
He said, what?
Again, just to prove the point, this is acceleration. And you can see how far I traveled here. I didn't travel no more than probably 12 inches, probably. If you measure the back wheel and how far I traveled, you know, it probably traveled no more than 2 feet, you know. You could say that I was probably going from 0 to about 500 to 5 miles per hour, you know. And look at the bubble, it reacts to that 5 mile per hour acceleration, right? Look at that. It reacts to the slightest movement, literally, you know, measurable, testable, repeatable. You know, you could accelerate it maybe even slower than that and it'll still react to that acceleration at about 5 miles per hour. You know, this is what happens, you know, when you accelerate gas and liquids, you know, they displace. The action, which is the acceleration, and the reaction is the displacement. You could test this. This will happen 100% of the time when you accelerate it, when you actually accelerate it. Now, when you claim acceleration in free fall, there's a huge problem. Because again, like we could see, the bubble gets pushed in the direction of acceleration, right? That's what we observe, that's what we can witness. However, in free fall, I think this is the free fall one. There we go. Let me get this in here. Shit, I didn't get it. You guys can take a look at that while I get this sorted. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, I got a little arrow here. Again, if you pay attention to this little bubble here, right? In the neck, watch. Pay attention to that little bubble. It doesn't completely stop. It decelerates. Look at that. It's still continuing its motion up, but it's decelerating. It's still moving up, but slowing. It's very slower now. It's decelerating. You can see that, you know. So the air bubble should be pushed down if it's being accelerated down. This air bubble should be moving down along with this one too. They should be moving down in free fall if it's being accelerated towards the earth. But what do we see? We see the opposite. We see the bubble still moving up, but slower, again, showing that it's decelerating. So in other words, in free fall, it shows the opposite effect. The bubble does not get pushed towards the direction of acceleration. It continues its motion in the opposite direction of acceleration. You know, that's what's happening there. So, again, it's basically inverted physics. You know, if you claim acceleration in free fall, why is the bubble still moving up when it should be moving down? You gotta ask yourself that. Why is it still moving up slowly now? Why is it decelerating its motion up? You know, you gotta ask yourself, why is the bubble decelerating in free fall? If the bubble always shows motion when the bottle is accelerated or when the bottle is in motion, why doesn't it not show motion or acceleration in free fall? Why does it slow down and not go towards the direction of acceleration? Why? The bubble, okay, sure. The bubble was on the surface the first time. This time it's surrounded by the water. I don't know what you mean by that. It doesn't matter where the bubble is in the water. It will get pushed in the direction of acceleration. And the bubble was in the surface. In the other one, that's because there's already a force pushing it up to the surface. You're saying that bubbles just move to the surface naturally by themselves? We should try this on I would love to see the bubble behaving inside of a parabolic flight, you know, in free fall. You know, you're saying the bubble gets pushed to the top naturally, right? Will that happen in free fall if you were inside of an airplane? If you're in a parabolic flight? How do you think the bubble is going to behave? Are you claiming that it's still going to get pushed to the surface? Because, you know, in free fall there's no orientation, so the bubble has nowhere to go unless you push it, you know? So seeing an experiment, you know, inside of, you know, an airplane in free fall and a parabolic flight will be very interesting if you ask me, you know. So if anybody has the money or the means, you know, to experience zero G flight, take a water bottle with you, you know, with an air bubble inside, and I would love to see how it behaves. You know, that would be a very cool experiment, in my opinion. You know. Yeah, why do gases go up? Why does lighter gases go? Why does helium go up, if I was to ask that? It's less dense in the air, but what does density have to do with motion? That's the big question. If you claim density and buoyancy creates motion, why doesn't that motion happen in free fall? Why doesn't the bubble continue to rise in the water? If you claim the density of an object creates motion, again, that's no different than claiming that mass attracts mass. So the bigger the mass, the more motion it creates. It's literally the same thing. If you're claiming mass creates motion, or density, again, density being another word for mass. If you claim mass creates motion, then why does it disappear in free fall? Why does that motion disappear? You know, that's because helium and air in water needs to be pushed by the medium that surrounds it. And the medium that surrounds it also has to be pushed in that same direction. So in order for the air to be able to push helium up, something else needs to be pushing the air. Same thing with the water. In order for the water to be able to push the air bubble in any direction, something else needs to be pushing on the water. So that's just the way reality works. So whether you like it or not. Wow, I can't believe I've been here for 37 minutes and nobody's stopped. Huh. Interesting. So you're saying Earth is not a contained system then? So I don't know. So a container, you're claiming that the container is like the, what do you call the kryptonite, right? Are you saying a container is density's kryptonite? Density and buoyancy's kryptonite? So if you put density and buoyancy in a container, which by the way, that's the only way to contain water and air, is in a container, but if apparently, you know, again, if you claim that container makes the motion disappear, again, Earth is a contained system, why doesn't the motion disappear then? Why do we have buoyancy here inside the contained system of the Earth? If you claim that it's the container, that's why it vanishes. Why do things go up here on it? Why do we have a pressure gradient? That's another, why do we have a pressure gradient? Does the pressure gradient create itself? Does something else create the pressure gradient, electricity or something? Like, and if you think that, why do you think that? Why do you think something else is creating the pressure gradient? Do you have a practical demonstration for that? Okay, gases expand in all directions. What does it have to do with acceleration in free fall with no displacement? Okay, gases expand in all directions when they're under pressure to equilibrate, especially when you change the pressure. What does that have to do with uniform acceleration of gas, liquids, and gas in free fall? I'm trying to understand, you know, because that's the guy in the last conversation was trying to use that too, like, oh, gases expand and stuff. Okay, but that's you changing the pressure. You're sucking the air out. Therefore, that motion of you sucking the air out or pushing the air out, it naturally, basically, the gas wants to equilibrate, so it expands to fill the void. Nature abhors a vacuum. So, yeah, gases expand when you create a vacuum. I don't know how that proves uniform acceleration of solids, liquids, and gas. It will be a cool experiment. Again, this doesn't prove the motion of the motionless Earth or anything, but to have a vacuum, but that's the thing, even if you had a vacuum in free fall, the motion of the air being pushed out, when let's say you're sucking the air out of a vacuum in free fall, you're still gonna get that expansion of gas, that pressure, because you're creating that change in pressure in there. Again, that motion of the air being pushed out of the vacuum is creating the motion. It's basically taking the balloon out of its equilibrium or whatever, and it's making it expand more. Because yeah, gases do naturally expand. And I would say again, what does that have to do with acceleration without displacement and free fall? Again, I don't know. I'm lost here. Because gases have a natural bonds, electrostatic bonding, also electrostatic collision. Okay, even if that was the case, what does that have to do with, you know, accelerating solids, liquids, and gas at the same rate without displacement? What does that have to do with an action without a reaction? A balloon filled with helium will go down if you remove the air. I don't know if you've ever seen a helium balloon in a vacuum. Again, the helium balloon needs to be pushed up by the air. You remove the air from the vacuum, there's nothing to push up on the helium, therefore it does go down. Astrological. So yeah, I don't think balloons filled with helium will go down. I know they'll go down if there's no air to resist it or to push it up. Proving that it's the air that's giving it that buoyant effect. Again, I wish I had the video right here downloaded to show. I mean, I could show it on this phone. Let me see if I have a helium in a vacuum. I'll show it real quick.
The vacuum chamber. So I have a helium balloon in here. This is going to be way too big though because it's going to expand and fill the whole chamber probably. I bought Mylar balloons because they don't expand, but unfortunately these tiny ones don't float. But luckily water balloons work just fine filled with helium. Okay, so what I'm trying to show here, if we make the air around the helium less dense than the helium inside of it, then the helium balloon should sink. So when I turn on my vacuum chamber, the balloons will expand, and what I'm going to try to do and hope for is that they'll expand, but the balloon will keep it pressurized enough so that the outside air will be less dense than the helium inside of it, and at that point the helium balloon should fall. Okay, helium balloons in a vacuum chamber. 3, 2, 1. Turn it off right before they pop. Oh, that one fell. See? Stop floating. And... oh, they both fell. Look at that. Look at that. That's awesome. So they expanded here because I reduced the pressure, but the balloon was able to hold the pressure inside of the balloon. Oh, not now. Okay, let's let in the air and see if this one floats back up. Okay, so let's see if this is really not floating or what. So it looks like there's a lot of static on it from when it moved around on the glass. That might be why it's not floating. But if I get it out of the chamber, it floats up, see?
It's funny how static keeps it from floating up, even though people claim that static is what creates the motion. But in this case, static is what kept it from going up. That's funny. But yeah, it still has buoyant effect. It still has a buoyant effect.
So that's why it didn't float as soon as I let the air back in. It looks like it was stuck to the bottom of the chamber. I thought it had lost some helium and that's why it fell, but it looks like it's still buoyant enough to float. What's cool about this concept?
So yeah, helium or buoyancy, anything that's buoyant, that's an effect of a push. So the medium that surrounds the object that's buoyant is actually pushing it, and that's what we call buoyancy. You remove the medium that pushes on the less dense object, and guess what happens? That less dense object just appears to fall, right? So let me see. No intern nitrogen bonds to oxygen keep it breathable and air accessible to life on Earth. Electrostatic tentacles, just like gravity tentacles, right? Now we have electrostatic tentacles. Again, I don't deny that electrostatics is a thing. It's a real thing. It could be measured. It could be tested, right? But it's not the cause for constant uniform acceleration, you know. And another thing, here, I think I have a video. Just because you could move or levitate an object with something else, it doesn't mean that that's the cause for this acceleration, right? Because I could show you, let me see. I could show you levitation with air. Check this out. Does this mean that, what is that? Look, you're gonna levitate a screwdriver using air? Now, does that prove that air is the cause for the acceleration in freefall without displacement? Just because I used air to levitate an object? Of course not. So yeah, people claiming that, oh look, I can levitate this with electrostatics. Okay, so? Do you have a demonstration of electrostatics accelerating solids, liquids, and gas without displacement? No? Oh, well then. What does that prove then? I just showed a video that someone levitated a screwdriver with air. I mean, pretty sure you could levitate a bunch of other things with air. I mean, they have those skydiving experiences where there's a giant fan on the floor and you basically float. You know, so does that mean air is the cause for this magical acceleration? No, of course not. So yeah, all these people claiming that shit, it's just pathetic. Again, if you don't have a demonstration, it's just a waste of time. So you're saying, how is the air pushing up on the helium, David Banner? So, okay, do you deny that the air pushes up on helium and that's why the helium goes up? Do you deny that? Or if you do deny that it's the air pushing the helium up, why is the helium moving up then? Anybody for that matter, if you deny that air pushes up on helium and that's why helium moves up, what causes that buoyant effect then? If it's not the air pushing up on it, what's happening? Exactly. What causes pressure gradient? Motion. Again, the pressure gradient shows you that there's motion. You know, the less dense on top, more dense in the bottom. Helium balloons gets pushed towards the less dense. If you deny that, you know, then there's no helping you. Even globers, even the mainstream has to acknowledge that buoyancy, it's an upwards thrust or an upwards push. Because it is. If you deny that, then you're a fucking reality denier. That's simple. By the way, my next question was gonna be, if you have to accept that air pushes up on helium. So now my next question is, what's pushing up on the air? Again, you have to deny physics, you know, to completely disregard that question, you know. But again, if you accept physics for what it is, aka helium gets pushed up by air, what's pushing up the air to be able to push up the helium? Okay, a pressure gradient is formed by nature and gases relative molar masses. What? Okay, what reasoning do you have to make that claim? What do you have a practical demonstration for that, or are you just making that claim because that's what reality is showing, that there's a pressure gradient, and because you have a bias, it's just the way it is? Is that it? It's just the way it is because you have a bias, or is this way because of this? Because this proves it. Do you have something practical to recreate this, or is it just you showing that there is a pressure gradient like on Earth, which again, you need a cause for that. That's the question. What's the cause? You're saying that there's no cause, that it's just naturally like that? What? Again, for every action, there's a reaction. So now we have, you know how in acceleration, you have the action but no reaction of displacement. Now when it comes to the Earth, we see the reaction, all the effects, right, of motion, but there's no action. So again, the opposite. So we have action without reaction, and we have reaction without action. Like, come on. Again, so you're saying that density and buoyancy are actions without reactions? Or like, what the fuck are you talking about? Even going through the motion, the density is natural stacking gases. So the gases, the molecules communicate with each other, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna stack myself, and then press down so we can create this pressure gradient. Is that what you're imagining, that the gas stacks itself? What the fuck? And how does it create the weight as well too? Okay, it stacks itself, right? But there's no weight. But how does it create that pressure down, but also up to push helium up? What the fuck? What are you talking about? The gases stack themselves and press themselves down to create a pressure gradient. Fuck me. Oh my god, man. Oh my god. I'm gonna assume you're trolling, man. Gas stacks itself and presses itself down, but also pushes helium up. Oh my god. Oh my god, I drink some air. Oh. Whew. I don't know what's causing the motion. I don't know what's causing the motion of the stars. I don't know what's causing the motion of the sun. I don't know what's causing the motion of the Earth. Does that mean none of those motions are happening? There are questions that can't be answered. I hate to say it, you know, I'd rather have, what's the saying, right? I would rather have questions that can be answered than answers that can be questioned. Are you gonna deny that? Like a Glober now? No, we can't. We could prove that objects don't accelerate down. You can't prove that the Earth is not in motion. So in your head, you could do it all day. You know, you could run in circles in your head all day. But in reality, there's only one motion, and that's the Earth. Provable, measurable, testable, repeatable. You know, if you're claiming acceleration in free fall, well, then you're gonna need something to back up that claim. Word salads and insane electrostatics and all this is not gonna change the facts. I hate to break it to you. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If we don't know what's moving an object that's demonstrably being moved, you know, then it's not moving. Where's the logic? That's true. Just because you don't know the cause of the motion of something, that doesn't mean it's not moving. Especially if you could see all the effects of motion to top it off, you know. It's like being in a car that doesn't have any windows, right? You're in a car, no windows, right, and enclosed, right? You out of nowhere, you feel getting pushed back to the back of your seat. Boom, you automatically, you imagine feeling that. But because you don't know what caused that motion, you didn't move. That's the kind of logic that these people are saying now, apparently. You experience effects of motion, you know, water showing you that, you know, the matter around you showing you that there's motion, but because you don't know what's causing the motion, what's the cause, it's not moving. Whatever. the mechanics of this realm. So what about the mechanics of liquids? You know, how liquids behave, fluid mechanics. So if you're saying that the mechanics of this realm are like number 5 of what's important, what's the most important thing then, David? Because apparently the mechanics of this reality don't matter. So the mechanics of how fluids behave, fluid mechanics, don't matter. So water being level doesn't matter then. So what matters then? If the mechanics of this place doesn't matter, or it's number 5 in your list, what's number 1? May I ask? Can you please share what the most important topic on Earth is right now, if it's not mechanics? I would love to know. I'm being honest. That's crazy. If you think that not understanding how the mechanics of this reality actually, you know, show us, if you don't think that's important, I would love to know what is. Please. An object in motion is moving. Don't need a law of an axiom to define reality and what's actually not apparently happening. Yep. Therefore, we experience effects of motion here on Earth. Again, we don't have to know what the cause of that is, but yet people want to dismiss all the effects of motion here on Earth because we don't know the cause. Again, we don't need to know the cause. You know, we can see the effects. You know, it's that easy, cause and effect. God damn.
Sometimes I think I'm doing something.
It looks like there's like a little farmer's market or something going on there.
I don't have a bias, LOL, after those remarks. That's funny. I just asked the hard question that you gotta answer then. I don't buy none of it actually means interpretation of something they don't really understand. Okay, I just asked the hard question, Matt. You gotta answer them. I don't buy one of it actually man's interpretation of something. Displacement of in a container when it's being accelerated is not man's interpretation. It's what literally is happening. Like, we're just using words to explain what's happening. You don't even need words. You just observe matter react to the motion. What are you talking about, man's interpretation? Yeah, man's interpretation of a stationary Earth, that's man's interpretation because there's no physics to back that up. So if you claim the Earth is stationary, motionless, and there's a magical force that accelerates things towards the ground, that's man's interpretation. Because again, you just use words. You have nothing practical. The motion of the Earth, no displacement in free fall, that doesn't require man's interpretation. That just is what it is. That's what's happening. So I don't know what you're saying. That no displacement in free fall is man's interpretation. That's a fact. There's no displacement in free fall. So I don't know what you're trying to do here, but both sides is sounding boring. I mean, if reality is boring to you, I don't even know why you're in this topic to begin with. If the mechanics of your reality are boring to you, why are you in this topic to begin with? That's weird. That's fucking weird. Oh, I'm bored now. I'm gonna go play video games now. Oh, I'm gonna go watch sports now because this is boring. Come on, that's lame. Is that how you're just gonna dismiss this? Fuck it. Fucking lame. It's literally like a Glover that once they're cornered, they're like, what difference does it make if it's flat or round? What difference does it make? I'm still gonna have to go. That's literally the same mentality you're displaying right here, man. Come on. Come on. Pretty pathetic. Pretty pathetic. Yeah, apparently stationary earthers prefer man's interpretation. They prefer explanations. Well, then this is not the channel for you. I hate to break it to you. If you want people to tell you that the earth is motionless, then you go and pay someone money to tell you that, because I'm not gonna tell you that here. You know, I'm not gonna be telling you lies, and I'm not gonna be telling you what you wanna hear, you know, to make you feel better about yourself. Again, you wanna hear, you know, that the earth is motionless, and you go pay someone else, you know, that's monetized or that asks for money. You go pay them to tell you that the earth is motionless. You know, the only thing you need to pay here is attention. You know, that's the only thing you need to pay here is attention. You know, but again, if you wanna be told that the earth is motionless, this is not the channel. You know. RJ Cooper, uphill battle. Yeah, I mean, that's how it is. I mean, hate to say it, man, this grassroots movement, you know, this whole flat earth thing, you know, it's a minority within the minority. Just so people could get an idea how far behind we actually are. People think, you know, these motionless flat earthers, most of them, they believe that it's moving forward, you know, we're getting somewhere. More people are realizing that, yeah, you're falling into another fucking hole. You're getting out of the globe earth hole and jumping into another one, like a fucking idiot, you know. But it's moving forward. There's 10 million flat earthers in Brazil. There's 10 million. How many times do I hear that? Like it's fucking bullshit. It's the real truthers are a minority of the minority. Know that. So all these flat earthers that believe the earth is flat, it's no different than believing in the globe. If you don't understand that the earth is a level plane that's in constant motion, then you're no different than a globe earther. So how far has this really moved forward? How many people are actually representing the mechanisms of this reality that debunk the globe? As far as I'm concerned, it's just me and Del so far. You know, it was just Del for a minute. You know, and I was getting frustrated that nobody else was fucking stepping up. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this. Because there's literally nobody else out there representing the facts, the physics of this reality that debunk the globe. You got all these fucking motionless flat earthers fucking defending it subliminally, and they don't even understand it. They don't even understand that they're defending the globe. How far ahead is truth really, you know? You know, it's not as spread as people might think. Yeah, people have heard of flat earth. People believe the flat earth. That doesn't mean they understand their reality. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, people are getting out of one hole and jumping right into another one like a fucking idiot. And again, I don't mean this personally. I'm not saying this to hate on people, you know. At the end of the day, I don't know anyone on here online personally, or, you know, anyone out here to be fair, but it's just what it is, you know. I'm not saying this to insult people or to spread hate, right? I'm just speaking the facts. If you don't represent physics, why the fuck are you in this topic? If you're gonna talk about imaginary physics and battle imaginary physics of the globe, what the fuck is that? Of course it's not gonna go nowhere. Of course it's gonna stay fucking static, you know. Oh, but there's 10 million flat earthers in Brazil. There's 10 million flat earthers in Brazil. It's moving somewhere. Do you know any Brazilian activists, by the way? How the fuck can there be 10 million flat earthers in Brazil, first of all? Maybe there are Brazilian flat earth activists, right? I don't know, I guess. If anybody knows any Brazilian flat earth activists, link them please, or share their channel name. I'd love to see some activism, you know. Yeah, you're in the middle, David. You're like a glober that doesn't believe in the globe, but doesn't understand the flat earth either. They're in the middle. You know how a lot of people are in the middle. They don't accept the globe, right? But they don't accept the flat earth either, right? So they're in the middle. I would say you're in the middle then. Yeah, okay, you could say that you don't claim it's stationary, but you also don't accept the reality that it's in motion. So you're in the middle. Again, you're like most globe earthers that don't believe in the globe because they know it's bullshit. Again, you don't believe in stationary earth and you don't make claims about it because you know it's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So you're not you know. But yeah, you don't make claims that it's stationary because you know it's bullshit. Just like a glober that doesn't believe in the globe anymore knows it's bullshit, but they don't commit to their common sense to accept that the earth is level. Just like you're not committing to your common sense that the earth is in constant motion. So I mean, it's the same logic you're using right here. So yeah, you could say that, oh, I don't claim it's motionless. Yeah, there's a lot of globe earthers that don't believe in the globe either. That doesn't mean they understand that the earth is level. You know what I'm saying? Deep down inside, either if they're not trolling, they still believe in the globe deep down inside. And that's what keeps them from accepting the flat earth reality, right? Or the level earth. And I feel like you're in the same boat, you know? Literally. You can't, you know, if you're not going to commit to your reality and your common sense, then you're always going to just be in the middle and be easily swayed. If you can't commit to your common sense, then what are you going to commit to? If you can't commit to your reality, what your reality is showing you, what do you base your common sense on? What do you commit to that tells you that this is true, if not physics? Where do you get your answers about this reality, if not physics? I would love to know. Heard that there are a lot of them in Brazil from multiple sources. I have no way of verifying that claim though. I know, I'm telling you, I keep hearing this fucking, oh, in Brazil there's millions and millions. I hear it from different sources too, but like, where are you getting that? Like, where, like, literally, like, do you follow a channel in Brazil that has millions of subscribers? Like, what the fuck is this claim coming from? Like, come on, what's up, Andrew? People like to label. If you don't agree, I will say again, I've never mentioned the earth is stationary. No, whatever. But you deny the laws of motion that show that the earth is in constant motion. That's a fact. You do deny that. Let's be real. You might not claim that it's stationary, that it's not stationary, but you also deny what reality is demonstrating. You have to. To be in the middle, you have to deny reality. Just like globers that are in the middle, they're still denying reality. They still are not committing to their common sense. So that's no different. Is the flat earth moving constantly? Well, it is moving, but the earth is not flat because it has orientation, and it has orientation because of the motion. Another reason why the earth is not flat, because we obviously have mountains, valleys, canyons. So the earth plane is actually, and it's uneven, you could say. You know, there's higher, you know, elevations, and then there's lower elevations. People, you know, different elevations on earth. Water, on the other hand, though, level, you know. So yeah, almost 100K when I was sucked. Dropping contained bottles has no relevance in relation to the Earth's natural deciding natural factors of provable. Dropping contained bottles with air and water will show if the bottle's being accelerated or not. So yeah, dropping contained bottles does have a huge relevance in people claiming acceleration in freefall. It's the main thing, if anything, of relevance when people claim acceleration in freefall. What else could you use to disprove that? I mean, it's obviously the number one proof to debunk that claim, you know, the displacement of gas and liquids. So I don't know why you're saying that it's not relevant. It's the number one thing that is relevant, water. You know, it's like saying that, oh, water being level is not relevant to the earth being level plane. It's still a globe because water level is just not relevant. I mean, I could just say that. Does that make that true? Water being level is not relevant to the earth's shape or the nature of the earth. I mean, what's the difference, man? Come on. Let's see if I could get one right now. Water shows us the invisible plane. I don't know what that means. I mean, you're saying water is see-through? I mean, yeah. What am I wrong about? If I'm wrong about something, I'll admit. If I'm, you know, this realm has psychics we don't comprehend. Okay, I'm gonna try to like reason with that. This realm has psychics we don't comprehend. Okay, what are you referring to when you say that? Like psychics we don't comprehend. Are you claiming that there's invisible forces that can create this acceleration? And if you do think that, why are you claiming that these forces can accelerate without displacement? Without anything practical. Why do you believe that, if I may ask? What, this realm has psychics we don't comprehend? Okay, if you don't comprehend, like, how can you even bring it up to conversation, something you don't comprehend? So you're gonna bring something you don't comprehend into a conversation to try to dismiss physics? What? Is that what you're saying? Are you bringing something into the conversation that you don't comprehend to try to debunk known physics? Wow. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's literally what it seems like. That there's psychics in this realm that we don't understand. What do you mean by that? Are you saying that because we don't understand something about this reality, that proves uniform acceleration without displacement? I don't get it. I'm lost right here. Everyone in Antarctica must be upside down on a sphere. True. David Banner, what questions have you asked about motion on a stationary Earth? Don't even ask him questions about the stationary Earth, because he doesn't claim the stationary Earth. Remember? But again, he doesn't accept the laws of motion either. So, what a convenient stance for you to have. Which again, there's nothing wrong. I get it. If people don't understand it, they can easily say, I don't know, you know. But I feel like you do understand. You've been in this for quite a bit, quite a long time now. So, and you're a Dell, you watch Dell, from Beyond the Imaginary Curve. I could not explain it any simpler than he does. So to claim that you don't understand, the claims or your own claims, it's kind of weird. I don't believe it. But that's just my opinion at that point. I can't prove that, See, the globe and stationary Earth both special plea for magical forces. Both should be questioned. Exactly. And trust me, I question the motion of the Earth. I try to find holes in it. I was like, okay, there's no way that this could work if the Earth was in motion, right? And boom, it does. Everything we observe can be easily explained and demonstrated and recreated using motion of a container. It's that simple, man. I don't know what you are, David. It's weird though that you've been in this so long and you don't comprehend basic physics. That's the only thing. It's a little weird. Again, I understand somebody new coming into this not comprehending it. I get it. I didn't comprehend it at first either. But I mean, if you're really that daft, then I guess, But yeah, physics proves that objects don't accelerate in freefall. You either accept that fact or you don't. And then if you don't accept it, then my question is why? Why don't you accept physics or the laws of motion, for that matter? So do you disagree that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction? Just that question alone. Does anybody disagree? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Does anybody disagree with that? If anybody disagrees, please tell me. And then tell me why you disagree with that. Because if you deny that fact, then we can't even move forward anymore. So, again, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Are there any deniers of that? Typical Glover response. I know, I see that one. Bigger scale. That's a good one though. Oh, you just need a bigger scale. Water bends at a bigger scale. Oh, with the bubble? Oh, you need to drop it from higher. You need a bigger scale. You need to drop it from higher. Oh my god, man. Pathetic. You guys want to take some information? You don't have to stop. Here, you can take it with you. Yeah. Yeah, we all do. You guys take care. Well, at least I passed the flyer. Believe it or not, that's better than nothing. I'm not labeling you. I'm just calling out the logic, I guess. Your logic, it's no different than global logic. Literally what you're displaying here, I'm not making stuff up. I'm quoting you, and then I'm comparing it to how globers think, and it stacks up. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm quoting you. And I'm just saying that it is weird that you're still in the middle for being in this so long. How is that putting words in your mouth? That's my opinion about you, that it's weird. You know? I'm not putting words in your mouth. You can go back. And again, if I am saying some stuff, it's my opinion. Again, I'm not you. Again, I don't know your intent, or you know, but that's just my opinion. The fact is that your logic is the same as global logic. That's a fact. That's what I highlighted. I didn't put words in your mouth. Come on. Your wife believes the earth is flat too? My girlfriend broke up with me over it being a flat earther. Oh, that sucks. Trendy now. No, yeah, we both realized that the earth is a level plane at the same time. And we actually both went vegan at the same time as well. So yeah, we're both pretty much on the same level of awareness, you could say, right? So yeah, you know, it sucks, you know, that they broke up with you. But to be honest, they did you a favor for breaking up with you. Because if this is the kind of person that you were with that's willing to break up with you for what you stand for, then it was only going to get worse down the line. It was only going to be a harder breakup later on. So it's, believe it or not, you know, count your blessings. You know, she did you a favor for breaking up with you when she did, you know. I personally couldn't live with someone that believes in the globe or just is all about the mainstream. I personally couldn't, you know, I would break it up instantly. Me personally, I couldn't connect with someone like that. Think about that. Like, what kind of conversations could you actually have with someone like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, boring conversations. Like, I don't know. Again, everyone's different at the end of the day, but it's just my opinion, you know, when it comes to relationships, you know. If you guys are not on the same page when it comes to, you know, things that make you happy, you know, and all that stuff, like, it's gonna be a rough relationship, you know. So yeah, they did you a favor. Well-informed realists know the earth is stationary and that the ether moves around us and we don't move upwards constantly to it. That's just a claim, the Jolly Man. You just keep copying and pasting the same stuff, but there's no practicality to that. That's like saying, oh look, there's gravitons that are pulling stuff down, and here's my proof, look. Boop. And I can't recreate gravity because the earth's gravity gets in the way. So my proof is that, look, this object goes down and it's because of the gravitons in the air that are pulling it down, you know. Again, I can't recreate that force or that cause because the earth gets in the way. The earth's gravity gets in the way, so you just have to believe me, you know. Just believe me that it's a force, something in the air that's pressing the air down and everything else down, but also pushes helium up, by the way. It can compress the air down, but also push it up at the same time. And how I can prove that? Well, release an apple and release a helium balloon. Proof. That's right. What did I say though? Oh my god. Language may well confuse and confound, but it never detracts from what demonstrable reality is showing. True that? Alright, let me see if I could get one conversation before calling. This is crazy. There's not many fires for that. Alright. Yeah, I'm still kind of working on the delivery after the trick question. So when I show the globe pictures, right, I'm still kind of like working my way into introducing the subject, you know, so that so that the train of thought is still, is still there, basically, right? So I'm still trying to work on that, on the third question, how to deliver the topic, right? How to introduce the topic, basically. So little by little, it's coming together, at least to how I feel comfortable presenting it. I'm kind of OCD, so when I want something done a certain way, I'm not comfortable until it's done. It's the way I'm perceiving it, right, or the way I want to do it, So my presentation being that, I'm still working on perfecting it to my liking again. There's nothing's perfect, obviously, but to the point where I actually feel comfortable enough to it's just second nature, right? Because I got the first two questions basically down kind of like that, like it's just basically second nature. So I'm trying to do that with the third question as well. And when it's like second nature to you, when you're comfortable doing it, the conversation just flows much easier. It's just more, you being comfortable, believe it or not, makes the other person feel comfortable as well. If you're being weird and a little bit tense and awkward, then you're gonna make them feel awkward too, So it's all about feeling comfortable in your own skin, feeling comfortable in what you know, and being able to present it rationally, right? Very simple, Another thing I've noticed a lot of flat earthers do, or motionless flat earthers, in specific, right? Because there's not a lot of activists out there doing what I'm doing. I was talking about the motion there. Point being is that, again, I don't know if they're doing this deliberately or not, but they're overcomplicating the simplicity of reality. Again, with the electrostatic claim, you're overcomplicating the simplicity of what reality is showing, and that's no different than what Globers do. When you start bringing equations to prove something defies physics, that's a huge red flag. A huge red flag. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. How many mental gymnastics you could do with your fucking equations. If your claim contradicts physics, then that's no different than believing in an image over physics, believing in equations. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of flat earthers, right, they overcomplicate the simplicity of reality, and in my opinion, that's muddying the waters. Again, whether they're doing it deliberately or not, that's irrelevant. The fact is, you're muddying the waters. Focusing on observations to prove the lack of curvature, in my opinion, muddies the waters. Why? Because water, the surface of water debunks, the curvature of the earth. We don't need to go and measure things with our eyes, because that's what Globers do. They measure things by looking at it. Now you have flat earthers measuring curvature with their eyes as well. Like, come on. We don't know what's outside of the earth. Going upwards through a medium. I don't know what's outside of you. Do you know? Do you know what's outside of the earth? I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's on the
Well, that was fun being insulting. If you think that was insulting, oh my god. Yeah. Wow. That was not insulting. That was just That was just a conversation, kind of. I was just calling out what you were saying. Like, when did I insult you? Oh, I'm comparing you to a Glover, huh? You took that as an insult. I guess you could say that's an insult, right? But again, I wasn't just calling you a Glover. I was taking your claims and basically measuring them up to what Glover's claim, and basically it's the same logic. I mean, nothing personal. Yeah, no hard feelings, trust me. Again, I don't know any of anybody here online, you know, personally, again. And even with my own friends, I still kid around, you know, like calling someone out and laughing, it's not really, you know, insulting, you know. You can call it like playful, you know, joking around kind of way, you know, but obviously saying some truth behind it. Hi. You guys want to take some information? Oh, here. You guys can take this with you. You want to take one with you? Here. Here you go. You guys can take that with you, by the way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was two ladies. I'm assuming they were mute, right? Or how do you call when people don't speak, right? Mute, right? So I just gave them a flyer, but they were reading it, and they obviously they were like. Ooh, it's getting a little chilly now. See, now we're at 30. All right. I cannot believe I haven't got a conversation. Well, the first one I was gonna get in the beginning. Like I got all pissed. What's up, JT the game? Ooh. Renata Aloiso, where are you guys located? We are in Southern California, but in specific, right now I'm in Riverside, downtown Riverside. Yeah. Yeah, I said that I accept that you don't make any claims, David. Just like a Glober that's in the middle, like I said, there's a lot of Globers, or I say Globers, that don't believe in the globe, right? But they also don't accept the flat earth, right? So they're in the middle. What I'm saying is that because you don't claim the earth is motionless, but you also don't accept the fact that, you know, physics shows us that there's no acceleration down in free fall, you're basically like a Glober in the sense where you're in the middle, where you don't claim the globe, in other words, or in this case, the stationary earth, but you also don't accept reality. That's what I'm comparing. I don't know. I mean, I'm playing. I know you're trolling, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not saying you claim the Earth is stationary. I'm saying that again. You don't claim the Earth is stationary. I get it, but you do deny the laws of motion. That's. Am I wrong? Am I putting words in your mouth? Do you deny or accept the laws of motion? But so far, it looks like you deny the laws of motion. That's all I'm saying. If I'm wrong, please correct me. My claim is it's not a ball. And I will ask, well, obviously then you could say, well, why isn't it a ball, right? And that's where you have to go into physics. You could say, oh, Earth is not a ball, right? Yeah, anybody could say that, which I get it, you know, it's cool. But then people are going to ask, well, how do you know it's not a ball, right? How? How do you know that, right? That's where physics comes in, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally that simple. You can't just make claims without the practical. And that's the point. If you're making claims of acceleration down, which again, I'm not saying everybody is, but if you deny that there's no acceleration down, which is what's happening, then again, yeah, that needs to be highlighted. We are 8 years in now. Way past it's not a ball. I know, that's true beyond belief. That was like the first couple of years, it's not a ball. It's obvious. By you saying no measurable gravitas, is basically you're saying no measurable force. No measurable cause. That's basically what you're saying, right? Everything accelerates in free fall without displacement because there's no measurable cause. So it's not accelerating then. It's decelerating because there's no measurable cause. I mean, you just basically say that. You're basically saying that, but without saying it. You're saying without measurable gravitas, without any measurable cause. Let's be real. It's not just no measurable gravity. It's no measurable cause, period, in free fall. Alright. Crazy. On a Saturday in the downtown area, no conversations. Interesting. Little bizarre, but
So 10 o'clock on Monday.
actually, I've heard some flat earthers also talk about, and Globers use this line too. We can't prove anything. I don't know. Again, I don't know if they're being sarcastic or not, but I've heard that before, where flat earthers are saying that we can't, that physics doesn't prove anything. Apparently, I've heard that before. Which in my head, like, whoa. Like if physics didn't prove anything, then we wouldn't have cars. Cars wouldn't exist. Nothing mechanical would exist if physics didn't prove anything. You know what I'm saying? So people that make that claim, I know a lot of globe earthers like to go there, especially when you're demonstrating physics that debunks the globe. They basically go to, oh, well, physics doesn't prove anything actually. It's just our best interpretation, right? That's what you hear. Physics doesn't prove anything, it's just what we can interpret. So jumping in front of a train that's going 200 miles an hour, it's not gonna crush you and basically just destroy your whole body. Jumping off of a building, you know, you're not gonna get crushed by the ground. Like I don't know, when people say that physics doesn't prove anything, like what do you mean? Like that's how you're able to construct everything you see, because we could prove things using physics. Like what the fuck? But yeah, those claims to me are fucking weird. weird, especially when they come from flat earthers. Again, I don't know who exactly, I've heard, but point being is that those are crazy ass claims, But yeah, that's just me. Exactly, JT. Again, we all have to go with the real substances and their behaviors. Yeah, understand how matter behaves in certain conditions, and that's how you're gonna understand what's happening. It's that simple. I don't know if people forgot how. Again, this is irrelevant, but I just feel I need to share this because it seems like a lot of flat earthers forgot about this. But I thought that controlled opposition, especially gatekeepers, are supposed to give you 99% truth with 1% lies, right? I thought that was like the way controlled opposition worked, right? They tell you 99% of the truth with 1% of the lies. With that 1%, in my opinion, being the biggest lie, right? Objects on accelerating free fall. So just so that people are aware, right? There's different levels of, again, I shouldn't even be saying this, but I'm just saying it for the fuck of it. There's different levels of controlled opposition, just so people know, right? There's the obvious controlled opposition, right? And then you got the more sneaky controlled opposition. There's different levels. That's obvious. If you deny that, then you're fucking lost, right? If you think the Flat Earth Society is the only controlled opposition, you're a fucking moron. In my opinion, the Flat Earth Society doesn't even make it to the scale. You know what I'm saying? That's just so irrelevant. The fact that nobody actually represents them too. Like, who's debating in behalf of the Flat Earth Society? Do they have a YouTube channel? Like, what's happening? Like there, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're controlled opposition, but nobody represents them, right? Point being is that the real controlled opposition are definitely active. Again, they're definitely active, and the way the controlled opposition works is, again, they tell you 99% of the truth with 1%, lies, and that 1% lie being one of the biggest lies, right? So Alex Jones, for example, right? He could talk about all the things going on in the world, right? All the events, all the scams going on with government and all politics and all this bullshit, right? He talks about all that bullshit, right? But he doesn't talk about flat Earth, right? He doesn't. That's like a low-level controlled opposition, right? You got the Joe Rogans, you got the Alex Jones, right? You see, these are real people that represent these, platforms, right? So those are very low-level controlled opposition. But then you got flat earthers now. Now, if you think that there's no flat earthers that are controlled opposition, you're a fucking moron. So, fact is, there is controlled opposition in the flat earth as well. So now you have flat earthers that are telling you 99% of it. They're talking about water being level and talking about everything, Admiral Byrd and all of these other like proof C's, right? That don't fit the globe, right? They'll tell you all of that, 99% of the truth. But yet they don't talk about the motion of the Earth, which destroys the whole heliocentric model. So just like Alex Jones tells you 99% of the truth with politics and all that, but he doesn't tell you the truth about the Earth. Now you have flat Earthers telling you the truth about the shape of the Earth, the levelness, but not when it comes to the physics of motion or the motion of the Earth, which destroys gravity. So again, there's definitely controlled opposition within flat Earth, obviously. Truthers within flat Earth, just, and it's up to you, to figure out who that is. And again, reality is going to show you who's lying and who's not. That's simple. You go with physics, you go what reality is showing you, and anybody that makes claims contrary to that, you can either conclude that they're lying or they don't know what they're talking about. That's simple. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, controlled opposition is definitely active, and they're definitely trying to blend in with real truthers. And just a heads up, if you think that, again, the Flat Earth Society is the only controlled opposition, which again, nobody actually represents them, nobody's actually speaking for them, then you're lost. You're literally completely lost. Like, I don't even know what to say. you want to be just off the globe and just jump into another concept, then that's fine. I don't represent any concepts. I don't make claims of the Earth's speed, the cause of the Earth's motion, the trajectory of the Earth's motion, or at least the exact trajectory of the Earth's motion. All of that, you probably will never know. You would have to be the creator himself to know all of these things. You would have to be God himself or outside of the reality to be able to make, those claims. Oh man. The blind leading the blind. I know that's stationary earthers, you could say that. For the ones that are not doing it deliberately, they're literally, it's like the blind leading the blind. Yep. Again, if you're a stationary earther that is not pushing that narrative deliberately, then you are the blind leading the blind. Now, if you're doing it deliberately, then you're just a lying piece of shit. That simple. So again, I don't know people's intent, I can only call out the lies. Again, whether deliberate or not, that's irrelevant, but I'm gonna call out the lies regardless. So it is what it is. There's intent when I push something into motion, so there's intent with the cause, but that's as far as it goes. It's an unknown to jump to the cause anyway. Yeah? Deal with the effects you can experience. Exactly. Alright, wait for 15 more minutes. We're doing awareness. Don't see anyone making money off of this, claiming motion, claiming stationary, making dollar. Oh, that's a good point too. We're doing awareness. That's why I said that earlier, that if you want people to tell you that the earth is motionless, then you go pay someone to tell you that, because it was a reference to that all the motionless earthers, it's so funny that they're all asking for money, it's so funny, but again, I wouldn't even have a problem if people ask for money if you actually represent the facts. If you actually represent reality for what it is without any other fluffy fucking stories or any other bullshit, and just stick to basic facts and simplify them. If you were asking for money doing that, I literally wouldn't even have a problem. Like if you were an activist that dedicated yourself to doing this, like, as your job, for example, I would probably donate to you. Again, you would have to represent the facts though, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't just get, sucked into this fucking mentality of getting ahead, of trying to get ahead monetarily, Again, if you're doing it, if you're really passionate about this and you actually dedicate your life to this, meaning you go out every other day to do activism, and that's your means, to make money, again, relying on, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Again, if you represented the facts and then you actually dedicated your life to this, right? And then there's no issue with that. But the fact is, people are not out here doing activism and they're asking for money, and again, telling lies, whether deliberate or not. So it just falls apart for me. You know what I'm saying? Whether the earth is in constant motion or not, the main thing is that we're being lied to about what the earth is in outer space. Yeah, I agree. and the motion of the Earth debunks the globe Earth and outer space. It debunks all the claims about outer space and all the forces that are needed to create orbits and all these planets forming and all this bullshit about space gets debunked when you debunk gravity as a pulling force. So you could say that, you know, let's just focus on debunking the globe, but again, it comes back to physics, which comes back to motion, which comes back to that motion debunks the globe. So by your logic, this needs to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be. If you want this to move forward, you need to address the motion of the Earth. For anybody that wants to do activism, trust me, if you don't address this point, this is not going to go nowhere. This is just going to remain a debate, an ideology of a stationary flat Earth versus an ideology of a spinning globe. Again, based on the idea that there's a force, now they're going to be debating magical forces with each other. That's what they want. That's what the mainstream wants. They want you debating magical forces. That's no different than debating that Santa Claus is not in the North Pole, he's actually in the South Pole. Imagine people start debating that. Like debating an idea. Like, come on, man, come on. Oh, but you know, it's like, but yeah, that's what it comes down to, man. But, one man and his detector. What's up? Again, there's a level in this reality that we get to where we can't prove anymore. We don't know the cause. Again, the motion of the Earth being one, the motion of the sun, what is the sun? There's questions that can't be answered here. You know, that's a fact. You know, but we could have opinions about stuff that we don't know, right? But when you have opinions about stuff that we do know, and those opinions contradict what we know, then that's where it falls apart. When you're claiming opinions that contradict physics, that falls apart. Again, you could have opinions about the things we don't know or can't prove, like what's the cause of the Earth's motion. Well, you could have opinions based on that. You know, I could have opinions based on that. It could be, in my opinion, it could be electricity that's moving the Earth, you know, kind of like on an electromagnetic track. So the Earth could be in an electromagnetic track, and it's being, you know, electricity is, you know, with magnetism and all that, it's what's moving the Earth. Again, that's an opinion, you know, because I don't know. You know, nobody knows. That's the fact. So having opinions about things that we can't prove, that's fine. But having opinions that contradict known physics, basically, then that's where it's like, whoa, you gotta, where are you getting that opinion from, right? Because it contradicts this, you know? And it's like, that's when they start to dance around the question and start invoking other shit. And again, it's just tactics of a deceiver usually, you know, or someone that's lying, you know, or someone that's not being honest at the end of the day, you know. That's what it comes down to. Unicorn farts? Yeah. Yep. Don't talk about magnets. That's obvious. I mean, magnets only affect metal. So people claim that magnetism is the cause to accelerate water. You know, all different types of matter at that point. Like that's imagination. You know, especially acceleration with no displacement. You know, just because you can accelerate like a metal ball using magnets. You know, I've seen acceleration demonstrations of magnets, you know, accelerating like a little metal ball. Just because you could do that, that doesn't mean that the magnets can accelerate water too. Now, pour some water on that track and see if it accelerates the water too. You know what I'm saying? That's what people, I don't know if they're not thinking about that, or it's kind of, I don't know. But yeah. Alright. I'll start calling it. Probably like 5 more minutes. Let me stretch real quick. Ugh. Oh my god. Oh. Is there a clown in the area or something? No, not, no?
Right there, those two right there.
What is reality? You do interviews and you don't mention the motion of the earth, then I would say, again, I'm not gonna speak for you, but based on your comment, I would say that, and what I told David, is that you are like most Globers that are in the middle. In other words, a lot of people I ask if they believe in the globe, they would say they don't, right? They don't believe, they're skeptical, right? They're skeptical about the globe because they know it's bullshit, right? So they don't claim the globe or believe it, right? But they also don't accept the flat earth, right? Or the water or earth being level, because again, they haven't committed to their common sense. So I would say they're in the middle, right? I would say if you don't accept the motion of the earth, or you don't talk about it for whatever reason, again, I don't know why you don't talk about it. I'm gonna assume that you don't accept the motion of the earth. I would say that if you don't claim the earth is motionless, which I'm pretty sure you don't claim the earth is motionless, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say that you're in the middle as well, kind of like a Glober, where you don't accept the physics that show you that the earth is in constant motion, but you also don't claim that it's stationary. So again, you haven't committed to your common sense when it comes to that, so you're in the middle. Again, I'm not saying all motionless flat earthers are morons, I just say that, I would say like the ones that have been in this the longest, and especially when they dismiss it with no logic or reasoning or no physics, I would say that is pretty dumb, but again, I would say that if you don't accept the motion of the earth, that you are not committing to your common sense, and that, again, I don't know why, again, can't speak for you, again, I don't know, do you claim the earth is motionless? I would assume you don't, but you also don't accept the physics that show you that there's no acceleration down and that the earth is in constant motion. So again, I would say you're in the middle, and again, that's just you. There's nothing wrong with that, I guess. But if you claim the earth is motionless, then I am going to call that out for sure as a straight up lie. But I get it. Like, some people are, again, it's part of the the truth goes through 3 stages, right? First is ridiculed, then it's violently opposed, right? And then it's accepted as fact. I feel like a lot of people are stuck in the ridicule. A lot of people are stuck in the violently opposed as well. And then there's not many accepting it yet. But again, the truth has to go through 3 stages, and it's literally at the first 2 stages right now with most people. Again, that's my opinion. I'm not trying to put people into groups and shit like that. Again, overall, that's just my opinion, when it comes to this, with the truth about motion. Again, it goes through 3 stages. Another thing, easier to fool someone than to convince them that they've been fooled too, right? That's another one, right? Every flat earther should know that quote. It's easier to fool someone than to convince them that they've been fooled. So with the motion of the earth, that couldn't be any more true, basically, So yeah. Yeah, gravity is based off of a false axiom. The fact that objects don't accelerate in free fall, the fact that there's no displacement, debunks gravity. Again, saying that and demonstrating that I think it's way better than to say you don't know. You know, again, if you don't know, I get it. You don't know. You know, you don't understand it, so I get it. If you don't understand something, don't talk about it. That's my best advice. If you don't understand something, don't talk about it. You know, why would you talk about something you don't understand, right? So again, if you don't understand the motion of the earth, but you don't claim it's motionless either, then I guess, yeah, take your own advice. Just don't mention it. It's fine. And if that works for you, great, you know. But just know that when somebody asks you what's water level to or relative to, water is level relative to what? You know, people are going to ask that because, again, water being level is a reaction. You know, water being level is not a cause, it's an effect. So they're going to ask you, I've had people ask me this before, so that's what I'm saying. Eventually, you're going to get someone to ask you, water's level relative to what? You know? So you have water in space, in the earth, right? It's level relative to what? Right? So I'm just trying to help you guys out, you know, again, if I'm wrong and you could prove to me that I'm wrong, please help me out. But again, I can only give advice, you know, from experience, right? Speaking to others, you know. And that's what it comes down to.
Do you trust your common sense? What does that mean?
Well, just challenging people's common sense. You want to take this with you? You could, yeah, you could take this with you. It's all information's in there. Okay. By the way, all right. Take care. Alrighty. Okay, we get it, bro, but you can't make your view a fact. You're really dense, huh? It's not my personal belief or view that gas and liquids always displace under conditions of acceleration. This is not my opinion. Like, do I need to show this again? The fact that if the bottle's in motion, the bubble reacts to that motion, meaning it gets pushed in the direction of that motion or the acceleration. That's not me believing that or my view. This is a fact. This is reality. You know? That must happen. But yeah, you could say it's my views, my personal views, right? But it's a fact. It's not me imagining that. That's what happens when you accelerate a bottle with an air bubble in there. That's what happens. So if you claim acceleration with not only motion of the bubble going down, but actually it's moving in the opposite direction, like if the bubble is moving in the opposite direction when it's being released in free fall, look at that little bubble moving up still, slowing down but moving up. You are claiming inverted physics. It's like claiming, like, it's just fucking retarded. That's why I say retarded. I'm calling the claims retarded. Now, if you take that personal and, you know, you claim the earth is stationary and you take that personal, that's not my problem. It's a personal issue. I'm calling these claims of acceleration down in free fall retarded because the bubble, not only does it not go down, it actually still moves up. And it slows down dramatically the instant I release it. It starts to decelerate, still going in the upwards trajectory when it should be being pushed down. That's not a fucking idea. That's not my personal view. That's physics. That's reality. Now, if you're gonna claim, oh, that's just your opinion, well, then you're just a moron. I hate to say it, you know, to anyone, you know, that it makes that, you know, nothing personal towards anyone. Again, you know, if you take this personal, then that's a personal problem, you know. But it's not my opinion, and it's not just my view. It's reality. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call it now. See if there's anything. The John Lemon thinks density and buoyancy create themselves. No, yeah, it's fine. All right, that's it. No conversations today, so that's a first in a while, at least. Well, since I've been doing lives, I think, you know. It's the first time I don't get a conversation, but yeah, I mean, there's a first time for everything, right? As long as it doesn't defy physics. There's a first time for everything, as long as it doesn't defy physics. But all right, well, see you guys on the next one, and yeah, thanks for everybody that showed up. Peace.